All right. Good morning, Jasmine. My name is Jasmine from Fangirlish. Good morning, Michael. How are you both doing?
Good morning. I'm so well.
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. Very excited. I haven't seen, well, technically, we kind of saw each other on Zoom, Michael and I, but it's been months since we've seen each other in person. So
Okay.
it's always good to see your face.
Well, it's
Thanks.
good to see both of you together.
Also good to see you, Jasmine.
Okay, so my first question for you guys is after such a long wait, because it was like about, I think, 5 years or something, did
Five
getting
years.
back on set feel like, going back home when you went back in to film A Man's Promise? Did it feel like you had, like, it was easy to get back into, or was there like a kind of a moment of like, we're back doing this again, and you gotta kind of like get back into the groove of it, or was it just like, I'm back home?
I'll let Jasmine
Either one
go
can
first.
answer first.
Go ahead, because
You know,
I have layers for this.
Okay, so it has been a very interesting journey of being in talks of filming of this, the sequel coming year after year after year. So at least for me, by the time it actually came, it was kind of like, are we actually, is this real? Like, is this actually happening? So we actually started doing Zoom calls a couple of weeks before we actually started filming. And I think all of us just sharing energy and sharing space again after all of those years. At least I know for me, it was like we just fell into the rhythm that we knew, which is has there's even from the very first film, there has been something very magnetic about the six humans that are, at the helm of these films. And yeah, so I think coming back into it, once we kind of were in it, we were in it.
Yeah. And what about you, Michael?
Uh, kind of, it's same, but slightly different. I did a couple events, I think, uh, leading up to actually shooting. So 2 years before, prior to actually shooting, I did an event where they wanted me to I guess be there as the character. And so I started getting into the mindset, and Jeremy and who plays Jace, and Robert who plays Dalton. We've been in constant contact for over the last 5 years. So um, a little bit. It was just like we doing what we've been doing, and just jumping right back into it. It didn't feel forced or pushed. It was just like, yeah, we're doing this. And because of that, the dynamic between Caden and Shiloh, um, I didn't need to do too much. With Jasmine, it was more like, hey Jasmine, how you doing? I still got some beef for you. So it kind of was a nice. We got into a nice rhythm, a nice flow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
another question I have for you, Michael, is did you learn to play the sax for these films or did you already know? Because I saw one of your Instagram posts where you were practicing and I was like, so did he learn for this film? Because that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't have enough time to start learning, to start actually playing before shooting the first film. Um, but I did, yes, I did learn how to play the saxophone. I learned how to read sheet music. I learned how to write sheet music. I actually wrote and played Shiloh's song in A Man's Promise. The scene where I'm playing to her, I'm actually playing to her a song that I wrote for her, inspired by her, with a little bit of love from the song played before our interaction in the first one, and A Brother's Honor. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of
I
fun.
love that. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, so my next question is for you, Jasmine. I saw on your Instagram post that you were talking about this being the first time that you were playing a lead in a film before, in a feature film, and we don't really see Black women getting those opportunities. So how did you prepare for something like this? Like, how did you kind of like take the pressure off of yourself? And did you feel like an immense amount of pressure to bring, Shiloh to life in a way because we saw you in a brother's honor, but this was your film.
Yeah. Um, I hope I did enough. Even now, I'm kind of like, I hope I did enough. But it's been such a gift to be able to tell this story. I think we've all kind of been just in awe and deep gratitude of the fact that we get these beautiful, brilliant Black people coming together who are affluent, but who also are still deeply committed to their values and who are deeply committed to their families. And it's not crazy traumatic, it's just a very peaceful, heartwarming, very genuine expression of what I love, just one of the many colors of what I love can look like. And so I was very much coming into Miss Jackson's work when the first film even came to me. And so even now, I'm still going, oh, wow, this is a really big community that she has cultivated surrounding her work. And so now there's absolutely a, whew, I didn't know what I was walking into for the first one, but now this one is like, I hope I did all right, y'all.
You did.
I hope I did all right.
You did
I think
great.
you did. I think
Thank
you
you.
did. Okay, so another question. Going back to that, Shiloh doesn't forgive Caden right away. So did you agree with her? I did.
Absolutely. When you think about everything that she went through, from both of them, yes, I can understand Caden's situation and how his understanding of everything that had happened was drastically manipulated. But still, I feel like Shiloh had that kind of love by any means necessary. Until I hear it from your own mouth, I'm not going to believe it. And so for him to have just vanished on her that way from her vantage point, it's like, nah, you had everything at one point. You got to work for this again.
Yeah, and not to mention she voted for them. Like she voted for them to run the
Yes,
company. Because
yes.
when she gave her vote, I was like, oh, okay.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to forgive.
I see Aiden maybe should have done even more, but that's just me personally.
I
Okay.
agree. I'm in agreement. I think I could have he could have done I could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, you think he still should have been left in the doghouse?
A little bit
Had it
longer.
not been, had it not been for that car rolling up on him the way that it did,
Exactly.
Divine
we would have,
intervention. I
we
can't.
would
There's nothing I could do about God said. He's like, hey, this is happening.
have.
Okay, speaking of that, with the car moment, just thinking about the story and all the twists and turns, like when you guys were reading your scripts and seeing the way that everything was playing out, were you yourselves like shocked by everything? Because when you read the books and you watch the film, then you're thrown off because you're like, wow, there's so many things happening to them. Because it's like for Caden, he's got this, somebody that he trusted that he was working with plotting and scheming behind him, like taking his money. And so you think that this is going to have something to do with his, with their dad being in prison, but it is something totally different. So it's like they're dealing with all these different things, like the person that tries to run him over, and then it's like we got somebody coming after them, because they want their dad to stay locked up, even though and I mean, and now we know, we saw the twist at the end too with Shiloh's brother. So there's a whole lot. Like when you guys were reading it, where you like, wow, there's just things that just keep piling on top of each other. So it's not just this situation with their dad. There's like all these other factors outside too that are still trying to stop them from, being able to live their lives.
So I don't know. Do you want to take this one first, Jasmine?
We, at least from my vantage point, assessing the conversations that we had as a cast, preparing for it, and even in our table reads, it was definitely like there is so much happening to this poor family. Wait, who did what and why? And wait, where did they come from? Who are they?
Exactly.
Why are they so pressed? Why are they taking out people?
Yep.
So it was definitely, it was absolutely a roller coaster for us as well.
Yeah, I know. When I first was reading A Man's Promise, I didn't see it like the whole time, the whole way through. I'm like, yo, this is wild. This is how deep we get this shadow thing happening. This is how deep it is, and then it turns out to be my man, my bro, my buddy. It was a twist I did not expect. Um, and low key, I'm still kind of feeling the betrayal from it. I'm still
You haven't recovered.
yeah, yeah. I like because I remembered sitting reading it and coming to that conclusion, and I'm being like, oh my goodness. And then the actor who played who played my
Rover.
manager, like he did such a good job at kind of playing this victim. Like every time I see it, I get a little shook. It was a roller coaster.
Yeah. Okay. And you, Michael, are obviously a very funny person, and Robert's character, Dalton, provides a lot of comic relief in the films. So, did you guys like how much fun did the two of you have playing off each other? Because there's a lot of comedic moments in the film that I love so much. And so when I was looking at all the stuff you do on Instagram, I'm like, he's really funny too. So I was like, I know, like how did you guys get through takes when you guys are having this if you guys are having this much fun?
Because we're professionals. Robert, I love Robert Riley. He's such a dope dude. He's like a bro's bro. Um, and working with him as Caden, things just came natural. Uh, I have younger brothers, and so playing because he's a lot older than I am. That was like our
That
little. He's
came off a little rough in honor of Robert. He's a lot older than I am. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell you said that.
well he is so we had that little bit of that little bit that's kind of in our foundation of our relationship as Caden and Dalton is like I'm big brother and my this dude who is my senior and as I don't know. It's because we're professional. Like we talked about how we can bump it up. Like little fun things. Like I don't I don't know if you remember when we started talking about branding
Hmm.
and the letter that was found. Like that whole scene. Like he came in with some nonsense, and I found myself legit like, yo, man, like is like on a real big brother level. He's fun to work with, and the things that come as a surprise was an actual surprise, and having to work through that made it hilarious watching.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just being fortunate to work with great actors who you can feed off of just naturally is really cool.
Yeah.
And if I can momentarily hop on like the Robert
Yeah.
bandwagon, like if I had to like nominate anyone team captain, I would have to give it to Robert. He really is such a master of his craft, and he was the one who was kind of like, all right guys, let's get through it, let's pull it together, let's give everything we got, but also he's very silly. All of them are. All of the men, all of the Granger boys are very, very silly. So it's they make it a joy to be on set with them.
Yeah. Okay. And my last question for both of you is we seldom get to see Black love on screen that's played out in a real organic way that's not stereotypical. So, how important was it for you guys to do a film like this? And not only that, just also the fact that we got to see Black people being successful, because that's another thing that we don't get to see. So it's like, Jasmine has her wine shop, and then there, Caden's a musician, and then he was working with his brothers, and they have a company. They have Granger Aeronautics. So like, how important was that for you guys to do a project like this? Jasmine, you can go first.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I think we also just because, as you said, to kind of go back to a previous question, there's so many different storylines and they're so full. I think a part of us kind of wishes they had like the space of being a series and each book was a season because I feel like that would really fulfill the fans just because there's so much in these worlds. But just to be able to tell the stories that we've been able to tell, it's such a gift. It's such a gift. And just to see how everyone is responding to it, I'm just grateful. And I'm grateful to Miss Jackson for picking, allowing me to be a part of the process.
Yeah, I guess I can only piggyback off that. Uh, this this role kind of came out of the blue for me, um, and I knew that I had to do it justice because of that reason. Um, when shooting the first film, it was like, okay, I whatever level that I think I'm at as an actor, as a performer, I need to step it up at least by at least 5 times whatever it is that I'm doing. One of the reasons why I was so adamant about learning how to play the saxophone, and actually, some people got a chance to see me perform live, which is really cool. Not just on set, um, and showing Black Love. Oh man, I had such a good I had such a great time working with Jasmine. And making sure that it wasn't cheap, and that someone who's a big fan said that it was tamed because like our love scenes were tamed,
Oh, they
um,
are. They
because
are.
because of what Passionflix normally does. And I was like, yeah, but it's only because it's more central. It's Caden had a lot to cover for, and to just go at it hard body is wasn't what it wasn't what Shiloh would. I don't think it's what Shiloh wants. Uh, but making sure that the love between us wasn't cheap and raunchy, and it was sensual, and it was delicate,
Yeah.
um and it
I'm
was
still
filled
stuck on hard bodies.
with
I'm sorry.
I
Not
thought
just
I
hard.
thought your love scene, I thought your love scenes were beautiful. I I
yeah.
I, I loved
Thank you.
them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's why it was a shock when someone told me that, and she's a big fan, so it was like, all right, I'll explain it the way I'm kind of explaining it now. It's about sensuality. It's about forgiveness. It's about reconnecting, and unfortunately, we don't see that enough with black love scenes. Um, uh, so all in all, it was very important. Miss Brenda is a powerhouse, and doing justice for her work was really important. It was I felt a great responsibility to really show people Caden, and show people who are fans of Black cinema, that we could do something great, even if we're not given all the resources to be as great as we can be.
Yeah, and Brenda's great. I interviewed her a week ago. She's lovely. So yeah, but I think that you both did a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to when we get the third film because I know it's going to be coming, but I don't know
Oh,
when.
it's
Unless you want to say
If I can like
February.
leave
February.
a slight spoiler alert, I trust that for anything, any level of intensity that we did not achieve, viewers, I feel like they can look forward to it in the final film for sure. And that's
Oh
I'll
yeah,
just leave it
it's
there.
spicy. It's so spicy.
I think that's perfectly
It's
fine. I don't think that's a bad way to do it because in the first in the film that you guys are in together, in A Man's Promise, that they're like you said, they're reconnecting. So it's like I wouldn't expect everything to be like that. I wouldn't expect that because it's a reconnection. But yeah, so I loved it.
it's sometime in February. We don't have I don't think we have the exact date, but they announced that in February is when we'll get a lover's vow.
All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate both of your time so much, and congratulations to you both on A Man's Promise, which is out now on Passionflix.
Thank
Thank
you. Yes,
you.
I'm
Thank you
so
for your
excited.
time.
Thank you for wanting to talk with us, and it's so good to see you, Jasmine. I
It's
hope
You
I
so
get
good
to
to
too.
see you
see you,
too.
Good to see you
Marcel.
again.
See you next week. Oh, let me play.
Bye. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.